Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
The hottest temperatures this year is still in our forecast for the weekend. I'll show you how hot it will feel with the heat index.
And we are following some breaking news out of Sampson County. A fire at a business burned for hours overnight. We'll have the details.
A man is in the hospital this morning after being shot by a Wake County Sheriff's deputy. What led to shots being fired after an hours-long standoff?
And the Edmonton Oilers will take on the Florida Panthers at least one more time in the Stanley Cup playoffs after beating them during Game 5 last night. They were in Florida. Florida had the chance to win it all. They couldn't do it, so now they go back to Edmonton. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
They dragged those cats back to the Canadian border, yeah.
Yes. All right. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Nate Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Glad you're here with us. Elizabeth Gardner is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. Those temperatures today, we're going to keep an eye on these throughout the next couple of days.
You know, it's pretty comfortable as you step outside this morning. I don't know if you guys noticed when you walked in. It feels okay out there. It's 68 in Durham and Raleigh, 61 in Roxborough, 61 in Goldsboro, 66 in Fayetteville and in Southern Pines. It's actually a couple of degrees cooler this morning than it was this time yesterday. But we are still on track for a very, very hot weekend. The hottest temperatures so far this year and the potential for a heat advisory too at that high heat index. We'll climb into the mid 80s at lunchtime with a high of 90 this afternoon, but our humidity, just like yesterday, will stay on the low side, making it more comfortable. We take a look at our potential tropical cyclone number 1, ready to make landfall here on the coast of Mexico later on today. It has winds at 40 miles per hour, but still has not officially become a tropical storm. If it does so before it makes landfall, it will be Alberto. But I'll talk about what the impacts will be, whether or not it's a tropical storm coming up for Mexico and for folks up in Texas. We are still on track for a scorcher of a weekend. We'll walk through what you need to know about it coming up.
It was a massive fire at a local pallet business. Look at this video. It's out now. Crews were busy working to get it under control until early this morning. Authorities said the fire burned 10 to 15 acres of unused pallets in a rural area of Sampson County. It was first reported around 4 p.m. a few miles east of Dunn. This marks the third incident like this in the area in the past 6 years. Firefighters from 6 counties and the NC Forestry Service battled this fire. The community also came together to help, bringing food and water for the crews. No one was hurt.
And more breaking news. A family home is badly damaged after an early morning fire in Wake County. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Kamara Court. Laura, we know that the family who lives there is safe, which is good news.
Hey, Renee, and neighbors tell me it is a miracle the family was able to make it out of this home, but they tell me 4 of their cats did not make it. Behind me, you can see some of the damage because crews are still on the scene. I mean, just significant damage to this home. I'm told by neighbors that one of the neighbors' son saw smoke and flames coming from the deck of the home, and then the fire spread pretty quickly around 12:30 this morning. One neighbor was able to take one of their surviving pets, a cat, to the veterinarian, but again, 4 other animals did not make it out of the home. Crews here have been moving in and out of the house with flashlights, still spraying down some of those hot spots. And actually, when we were driving into the neighborhood here, we could see smoke still coming from the roof of the home. So again, a huge task that crews have here. The fire is out, but still working to just kind of maintain and monitor those hot spots. Again, the family did make it out of this home. Once we learn more about what caused this fire, we will be sure to update you guys. But again, still working to learn more about what happened here overnight. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
A man who prompted an hours-long standoff in North Raleigh is in the hospital after he was shot by a deputy. Neighbors were evacuated from their homes on Water Oak Drive off North New Hope Road for hours during that standoff. It started about 10:45 in the morning. The Wake County Sheriff's Office says the man refused to obey an eviction notice. Deputies tried to get the man out for nearly 7 hours before entering the apartment about 5:30 yesterday. As they tried to remove the man, a deputy fired his gun. The man was seriously hurt. The Wake County Sheriff's Office and the SBI are investigating the shooting.
The mother of a former Fort Liberty soldier shot at a Cumberland County car wash is urging whoever's responsible to come forward. Authorities say on June 4th, 24-year-old Lamarvian McKinnon was shot several times on Deaver Circle. It's just outside Hope Mills. Kissel Gilchrist says her son was going to be a father later this month. And investigators say they want to bring a man in for questioning about the crime, but no one so far has been charged.
I just want justice. I want them to turn themselves in. Everybody that's involved, they need to talk. That's all I want. I don't want no revenge. I don't want nobody hurt behind this.
And one person is still wanted for questioning in the case.
At least one person is dead as a result of fast-growing wildfires in New Mexico. Thousands have evacuated their homes. At least 500 structures have been damaged. The South Fork Fire and the Salt Fire are both burning near the village of Ruidoso. Fire officials are hoping that rain expected tonight could help tamper those flames. And the town council in Garner has approved nearly $50,000 to clean up tornado damage from late last year. People living in Garner are still seeing debris and tree damage from that EF1 tornado that touched down in December of last year. The town council unanimously approved more than $47,000 to help. Town officials want to start the cleanup work this month and have it finished by August.
Today's Juneteenth, the federal holiday commemorating June 19th, 1865. That's the day enslaved people in Texas learned they were free 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Many celebrations are happening today across our area to honor the day. A celebration is happening at Chavis Park in Raleigh from 1 to 4 this afternoon. Durham's West End neighborhood will host a celebration from 11 to 3 today at Carroll Street Park. Fayetteville's Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church will have an event tonight from 5 to 9 p.m.
The Edmonton Oilers are not letting the Stanley Cup final end without a fight. They forced a Game 6 in the series with a 5-3 win over the Florida Panthers last night. The Oilers have now won 2 games in a row after losing the first 3 games of the series. They'll have a chance to tie it up when they host Game 6 Friday night.
New money is coming to North Carolina to handle lead contamination in water. Vice President Kamala Harris's husband, Douglas Emhoff, joined Durham's mayor and Representative Valerie Foushee in a Durham neighborhood yesterday. They watched as workers tested equipment for lead pipes and then announced grant money to put towards dealing with the issue. Second gentleman also visited Lyons Farm Elementary in Durham and said every water fountain at schools across the state will be tested for lead. We've also learned President Biden will be coming to Raleigh the day after the presidential debate later this month. That's June 28th.
Tonight at the Team USA swimming trials, Olympic veteran and Cary-based Ashley Twitchell will compete in the women's 1,500-meter freestyle final. Holly Springs native Andrew Capobianco competed with his partner Quentin Henniger last night in the men's 3-meter synchronized final. They came in second place, unfortunately not making it on the Paris team. Back in 2021, Capobianco took home the silver medal in Tokyo with Mike Hickson in the men's synchronized springboard.
And for the women, NC State's Catherine Burkhoff competed in the 100-meter backstroke, finishing second. That's a finish that will likely send her to Paris. Swimmer Regan Smith broke the world record in the women's 100-meter backstroke last night, taking the top spot. The Olympic swimming trials continue through Sunday, and you can catch all the excitement right here on WRAL.
4:38 on your Wednesday morning, an Ohio firefighter went beyond the call of duty when he risked his life to stop a man from stealing an ambulance. We'll show you the moment that he jumped into the moving vehicle.
The CEO of Boeing faces tough questions on Capitol Hill. What he admitted to as families of victims of 2 737 MAX disasters demand answers.
And as we head to break, we'll take you live out to Zebulon this morning. Today, temperatures will start to heat up as we get closer to the weekend. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will join us after the break to tell us when we could hit 100 degrees.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's 4:42. We're taking a live look at Goldsboro this morning, where it's nice and quiet. It feels really comfortable as you're stepping outside this morning. Our humidity has dropped even more than it did yesterday. Not that we're talking about, a fall feel by any means, but, for this time of year, pretty comfortable, especially with a big change that we have coming up this weekend. 61 in Lewisburg, 66 Fayetteville, 61 in Tarboro, 64 in Goldsboro and Rocky Mount. So if you get the temperatures in the 60s this time of year, it feels pretty good, especially with a nice low humidity. So walking the dog this morning, feeling feeling great. As a matter of fact, I was out yesterday evening around 6 o'clock or so, sitting at a table outside in the shade. It felt really good. We will see a high of 90 again today, and it's nice and dry. But coming up, we're going to talk about the big changes and the big heat headed our way for the weekend.
Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center. We have some new images coming in from overnight in Wake County. There was some sort of law enforcement investigation happening on US 64. I want to play some video here, but I'm going to pause it at certain points so you can see what I'm talking about. So at one point we did see there is this vehicle here, a red one. I'm pausing it here because you can see a stroller in the back of this vehicle. And if you look closely as I keep playing here, you'll see there's a little baggie there. It's a little blurry in this clip, but the next one you can see it very clearly. Ammunition in this baggie. I count at least 5 rounds, possibly a 6th that is obscured by the wrapping of the plastic that's near it. And the rest of the video kind of shows you more damage done to the car there. And there was a State Highway Patrol trooper on the scene there. So here's what we've done. We have reached out to State Highway Patrol to try to get more specifics on what happened here in this situation. But they tell us right now they are unable to confirm any details at this time.
The temporary pier system used to deliver aid to Gaza will reopen soon. It opened in mid-May, but the pier has been plagued by problems and shutdowns. U.S. officials dismantled that pier on Friday because of concerns heavy seas would damage it again. So far, the pier has been used to get more than 7.5 million pounds of aid to the area.
The CEO of Boeing faced tough questions on Capitol Hill 6 months after that door plug failure on a MAX 9 jet. Dave Calhoun apologized to the family members of Boeing 737 MAX victims during a Senate panel hearing yesterday. Then he admitted the company has taken action against whistleblowers. Lawmakers also questioned Calhoun's salary, $33 million, in the face of all of the safety concerns. Calhoun previously announced plans to retire before the end of this year. His successor has not been chosen.
Stellantis is recalling more than 1 million cars because of a software glitch that disables the rear view camera. Cars that are affected include several different SUVs, trucks, and vans under the Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Ram brands. Some good news, though, the online recall can be done at home. Drivers have to accept a software update on their media dashboard for the repair to go through. Stellantis says it has no reports of injuries or crashes.
We're getting a look at Justin Timberlake's mugshot after he was arrested for DWI on Long Island. The pop star was arrested in Sag Harbor yesterday after police say he drove through a stop sign and did not stay on the right side of the road. Police say Timberlake had a strong odor of alcohol on his breath, did poorly on all of the sobriety tests, and refused to do a breath test.
Time's running out for candidates who want to join Joe Biden and Donald Trump on the debate stage next week. CNN says candidates have until midnight tomorrow to meet the requirements to participate in the June 27th debate. That includes getting at least 15% support in 4 separate national polls. Independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has that support in 3 polls. He's also likely to fall short of the criteria for having ballot access in enough states.
If you're a homeowner, you've likely noticed the cost of living has spiked. A recent Bankrate study found the cost of owning and maintaining a home has jumped 26% in the last 4 years. Bankrate says the yearly cost for a typical single-family home has topped $18,000. Those costs are closer to $30,000 in states like Hawaii and California.
As a longtime homeowner myself, I constantly complain about how much I'm spending on repairs, plumbers, electricians. If you're buying an older home that's 50, 60 years old, even if it's been inspected, you're going to be constantly running into new repairs.
Yeah, there's always something to pay for, right? To help lower costs, analysts say homeowners should compare home insurance rates to get the best deal. Unfortunately, they say these high costs are not likely to go down anytime soon. Johnston County is asking people to cut back on their water usage because of the hot, dry weather we're seeing. The Department of Public Utilities says irrigation usage in the county is creating above normal water demands. As a result, some of the county's main supply sources are temporarily limited.
The proposed state budget by House Republicans includes some major policy provisions. It includes one that would take aim at prosecutors who don't pursue charges against protesters who get arrested. It would require any prosecutor who dismisses a charge of civil disorder to explain in detail why the charge has been dropped. The explanation would have to be written in the court record and sent to the arresting agency. Republican lawmakers say some prosecutors dismiss too many charges against protesters.
Dramatic moments outside an Ohio hospital as a first responder jumped onto the side of a stolen ambulance there to try and stop the man behind the wheel. This all happened in a suburb of Cleveland over the weekend. You see the paramedic clinging to the side of the ambulance as it speeds away.
So yeah, I was like leaning in the actual window, like on my belly, and my legs were hanging out. So I was trying to wiggle all the way in just because, you know, in the moment I was like, if this guy crashes, I'm going to get beat up pretty bad.
The thief did end up crashing into the hospital's helicopter landing pad. The first responder suffered minor injuries to his ankle and arm, and the man who drove off in the ambulance is now facing charges.
A Black Health Expo is happening today in Raleigh as part of Juneteenth observances. It's happening at Gethsemane Seventh-day Adventist Church on Sanderford Road, and you can get health screenings and tests there. There'll be food and fun activities and food trucks out there as well. It all runs from 10 to 2 p.m. Better find some shade as well. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It is going to be another hot one. We should be getting used to this, but that cumulative effect starting to bolster.
We're going to see a big jump in our heat over the weekend. You know, I was out yesterday evening, and it felt pretty comfortable out there. It feels nice out there this morning, too. We take a live look at Franklinton, and we're seeing mostly clear skies. When that sun comes up, we'll have a pretty sunrise across the area. It is 68 degrees right now. Winds are light. Our humidity is on the lower side. We do climb into the mid-80s at lunchtime, and we'll see a high again around 90 degrees this afternoon. But it'll be as comfortable in 90 degrees as you can find anywhere. We do have clear skies, so we have the top of the tower lit this morning in blue. And I love this one. Hey, you know, you're going to need to find some cool places to be, especially over the weekend. Candace Blake found this beautiful swan there near Durham. Very interesting with a black head and neck and the white body. Not sure that I've seen one like that before. We'd love to see your photos. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and upload a few of those. We'd love to put them on TV. 90 in Raleigh today and in Durham, 91 in Fayetteville. So, yeah, it is going to be hot. But take a look at this dew point. This dew point is on the low end of tolerable. I mean, almost down to comfy this morning. And you can feel it when you step outside. So, you know, enjoy the weather that we have now, because tomorrow it's going to climb up closer to steamy. And then over the weekend, we get into tropical, and that's going to make it feel more like triple digits with the heat index. So we do have that dangerous heat in our forecast for the weekend, with the heat index up around 105 for the first time this year. For the last several days, we've had heat advisories and excessive heat warnings just to our north. We'll start to see more of that intense heat around here as we get into the weekend. Our normal high is 88. We're at 90 today and tomorrow, but then 98 on Saturday, 99 on Sunday, and that big heat continues into next week. This is the way it'll feel. By Friday, it'll feel like 97. It'll feel like 103 on Saturday and 108 on Sunday. So heat advisory is likely for at least part of the weekend. We'll be watching for that excessive heat warning. It's a little less likely that we would see that, but this will be the first heat advisory that we see this year. Look at this, and it doesn't end anytime soon. So much of the country looking like a very good chance of above normal temperatures almost to the end of June, and so we'll see that as well. How about a chance of showers and thunderstorms? That chance does go up a little bit on Monday. We're going to talk more about that potential and the timeline for that coming up in just a little while, and of course a check on the tropics. The 5 o'clock advisory will be in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Astronauts aboard the ISS will have to wait a little longer to return back to Earth. Why the Boeing Starliner's departure has been delayed for a second time.
Also, a new monolith has popped up in the desert. We'll tell you where this one was found. An iconic sci-fi spoof from the 80s is getting a sequel. David Daniel has that and more in the Hollywood Minute.
I am the keeper of a greater magic. The Force? No, the Schwartz.
Get ready for more Spaceballs. Multiple outlets report a sequel to Mel Brooks' 1987 sci-fi spoof is in the works. Josh Gad is set to star and is producing the follow-up with Brooks. The Celine Dion Foundation has pledged $2 million to the University of Colorado to establish an endowed chair in autoimmune neurology. The announcement came at the premiere of I Am Celine Dion, streaming on Prime Video June 25th, in which the superstar singer shares her struggles with the autoimmune neurological disorder stiff person syndrome.
It's the principle of pain. We shouldn't have to pay for train tickets in Poland. This is our country.
No, it's not. It was our country. They kicked us out because they thought we were cheap.
The first teaser trailer is out for A Real Pain, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin as very different cousins who reunite for a trip to Poland to honor their grandmother. Eisenberg wrote and directed A Real Pain, which opens in theaters October 18th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Boeing Starliner spacecraft's return to Earth has been delayed for a second time. The craft launched on June 6th and docked at the International Space Station. During that journey, Starliner experienced several helium leaks and a temporary loss of thrusters. Ever since then, engineers on the ground and astronauts in space have been testing the spacecraft and troubleshooting the issues. Starliner is now scheduled to undock from the ISS on June 25th and land in New Mexico the next day.
Summer solstice is coming tomorrow. It'll be the earliest it's happened in nearly 230 years. Solstice is the moment the sun reaches its highest point in the sky for the whole year. It'll happen tomorrow at 4:50 in the afternoon, and it coincides with the longest day of the year.
Well, check this out. A mysterious monolith has been discovered in Nevada. It was found at Gas Peak. That's about 20 miles north of Las Vegas. The peak has an elevation of almost 7,000 feet, so officials are urging people just be careful if they plan on hiking up to it. Right now, there is no word on where this thing came from.
How to get there. Netflix is looking to move from the digital world to the real one. The company is set to open massive entertainment venues called Netflix Houses in Dallas and Philadelphia. Inside, visitors will find elaborate experiences, themed gift shops and restaurants based on Netflix content. And that includes the Glass Bridge Challenge from the series Squid Game. Temperatures will be dangerously hot this weekend. The symptoms doctors say you need to keep an eye out for to avoid heat exhaustion.
And the biggest weapons package in history for Israel could be moving forward. What it includes as the war there continues.
Also, we'll show you more of the tributes pouring in for baseball star Willie Mays.